Completely organic. Yes?
Okay, okay.
All right, let's do this.
Get into trouble this way.
Yeah, we might. I hope so. Mocha Usang.
Popular,
Thinking Pinoy.
smart,
Sas Grande.
also
Darwin Liliente.
influential,
Mike Lopez.
lovely person.
Pinoy Ako Blog.
What? There's a blog?
Boxers or briefs?
Seriously? Boxers.
Why are you always wearing pink?
Because of my coloring. It suits my coloring, and I believe that real men wear pink.
The School of Oxford.
One of the great learning institutions in the world. It really is different. It really is a different place where academics are really the only single important aspect of your life while you are there. The Brits tend to have a bit of a class consciousness that disappears when you're in Oxford. Who's the smartest? Who gets the best grades? Who has the and it's all and you can see people sitting having a sandwich and they're talking about some great philosophical. You can sit in the coffee shop where John Stuart Mills wrote, where he wrote his book on utilitarianism.
Bananas, chills.
Yeah, it's it's right outside. So that's the atmosphere, and that really encourages. It makes it very conducive to this kind of deep thinking. I had one of the greatest experiences I had was one summer in Oxford. We were sitting around in one of the greens, and we were talking amongst each other, drinking a little wine, and some visitor came up and said, "Look at you students. You just sit there. You spend your parents' money, and you're not doing anything." And you know what? The professor was walking by, and he says, "Sir, you must allow them to do nothing, because that is the only time, this is the last time in their lives that they be allowed to do nothing but think." And that defined the place for me. Mag-isip ka. And I always say, Oxford taught me how to think. And I still believe that.
Fantastic. Paulo Duterte.
He has been going through a bit of a rough time recently. I'm sure he'll be okay.
Sarah Duterte.
Sarah's a lot like her dad.
Yep.
Sarah's a lot like her dad. I see very many similarities between her and her dad. So she clearly sat at his feet and learned from Dicom.
Bastet Duterte.
I don't know Bastet very well.
I know.
I've met him. He's cool.
Super cool.
Cool guy.
Super.
Actually, the Dutertes are cool because they're just because of the dad. I don't think they're allowed to become mayabang. They're allowed to be because of the dad. The dad just won't put it up with it.
Winston Churchill.
Whew, what a heavyweight, political visionary, I suppose, in many ways, and a writer and a speech maker of absolutely no equal. No equal. And I've read everything he's written. I have read all the speeches he's ever made, and you just look at his history about especially during the war. But you look at it even beforehand. By the time he was like 22, 23 years old, he had seen more war than most soldiers, and it translated into his understanding. He was the one who coined the term the Iron Curtain. He was the one who first started warning the West about communism during the war. So he had a very deep understanding of the world, and he had a very deep understanding of geopolitics. It wasn't called that then, but I guess the foreign policy and the great powers of the world and how they interacted all through history.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, he's another visionary. He just came up with an idea that we just never thought about. He's like all those tech giants who understood the tech so well that they put it to use in ways that we did not foresee or did not imagine ourselves, and that's where his genius comes from.
Hollywood or Broadway?
Hollywood. Some of the most only because I was raised in serious theater and not so much in musicals. And Hollywood has some of the most creative, the most talented, the most brilliant, the stuff they come up with sometimes.
Bill Gates or Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs.
Favorite beach in the Philippines?
It used to be Boracay.
Same.
It still is the most beautiful beach I have ever seen in the whole world. I mean, up to now. Just take away the green algae. But it's still the most beautiful. You know, you would walk down to about Station 4 and then you look down the beach and like, whoa, this belongs to us. This is our country. Look at this. It's still the most for me. It's not my favorite now because it has all the problems that it has. So my favorite beach right now would be up in Ilocos, the beach in front of my house.
You get to take us.
Yeah, why not?
Favorite road trip?
The favorite road trip I ever took was a very, very long one, it started in Rome, drove up to Milan, went across the south of France, drove up all the way to Paris, and ended up in London.
How long did that take?
It took me about 10 days.
Okay, wow.
And stopping just about everywhere, and it was great fun.
Sandro Marcos.
Oh, Sandro. Well, we're very proud of our Sandro. I mean, you know, like any parent and child, you know, there were some iffy moments, you know, when he was a teenager. So what's going to happen to this kid? He doesn't seem to be getting it. Well, he got it. He's fine. He's doing very well. He's working in London. After his master's degree, and I think he'll do well. I mean, he's buckled down and he's become not necessarily serious. I wouldn't use the word serious, but he's become. He understands what he needs to do. He said a remarkable thing actually, because we told him, you know, where do you want to go, and we can ask. I'm sure we can ask some of our friends to take you on. And he went away and thought about it, and he came back and he said, I think I'll work abroad for a while. Yeah. He said, because I don't want to work in a place where my name means something.
That's wonderful.
So he wanted to make it on his own. And I'm beginning to get that same sentiment from my second son, Simon.
I was just about to ask you. Yeah. So Simon Marcos.
Simon is sort of the same also. You know, he's now in China, and he's working there. And he's saying, you know, everybody wants to meet me because I'm your son, and I'm a Marcos, and like that. And I said, well, you know, that's their way of showing their appreciation for what your grandfather did. But you know, they said, but I don't want to be treated that way. I want to just work to learn things. And I said, you'll get there. Don't worry. Once they get over the excitement, you'll get. So I'm very, very proud of them for having come up with that idea.
And Vinny Marcos,
Vinny,
boy charmer.
my coder. Yeah, I'm still waiting for his $1 billion app so I can retire.
So you can retire.
So I can retire. Yeah, live off my children.
Yeah, that kid has a really special type of charisma where he's what's the word? He's effortlessly charming. It's not common. It's not common.
No, it's not. When people, one of the things people always remark upon is with little children. They can leave their little children with Vinny, and the kids will be happy, and they love him. They look for him, and they, where's Vincent? We want to see him again. And they thank me. And they say, you know, thanks to your Vinny. He's so matyaga. He's so patient. I said, you don't understand. He's not making tiyaga. He's not being patient. He likes being there. He likes being with your children. He enjoys the time that he spends there. It's not something that he feels he has to do. It's something that he just likes doing. He wants to do. He's that kind of guy.
World's greatest quote.
One of the best quotes that I have is nice and simple, nice and it's Winston Churchill.
Okay.
When you're going through hell, keep going.
That's a great quote.
That's typical Winnie.
I heard that from you the first time also. Who's your hero, not related to your family, and why?
Nelson Mandela. Because the depth of his forgiveness was astounding. I mean, for him to be able, his policy after he came out of jail, when he continued his fight for apartheid, was just forgive. Let's not forget, but let's forgive, let's forgive. He forgave everyone for all the things that they did, all the wrongs that they did. And He allowed them an opportunity to say sorry so that everybody else could forgive. Wow. I mean, wow.
I can sense that you've sort of lived your life that way too.
I've tried that. I've tried because it works. It turns out it works.
Most important life lesson.
Humility.
What would you tell your 30-year-old self?
That. Be humble. Be humble.
Imelda Marcos.
Oh, the force of nature. She really is. She really is a force of nature. The older I get, the more I appreciate her. You have to have achieved a certain depth in your understanding of the world and of people to appreciate her. If you're young and immature, you think she's kind of this lady's kind of off, you know. But the more you yourself understand life, the more you appreciate her. It's happened to me all my life, and it keeps happening to me as I even now as I grow older. I still see, oh, I get it now. I didn't get because I was dumb and I was stupid and I was immature. Now I understand what she was talking about. You know, there's I paraphrase. There's a quotation from Mark Twain, which I think applies here. It says, "When I was 19 years old, I could not believe how stupid and how dumb my parents were. By the time I was 23, it was remarkable how much they had learned." And that's exactly what happened to me. Is that I don't get my mom. There was a time I don't understand what she's talking about, why she's doing the things she's doing. And then as I grew older, I get it. And because now I've experienced something that shows me that that's correct. And what you were thinking before was unformed and incomplete.
Ferdinand Marcos.
Ahead of his time, just way ahead of his time.
What can you say to the Marcos detractors in 2018? Not before. Today.
Depends what they if they're criticizing me, then sure, I take it. That's not a problem. I'll answer as best as I can. I may end up changing your mind. I may not. But if it's the detractors of my father and but you know, there's some what you call detractors that don't like him for no real reason, only because the propaganda and all of this, and they've been, I suppose, led to believe certain things. Is look at the facts, look at the history, look what actually happened. Don't listen to what I've said it many times before. There are objective tests to performance in as president. Look at those and start with those. Then we can go on to all the other things, and we can discuss the less quantifiable pluses or minuses in terms of, let's say, political ideology, things like that. But in terms of actual performance, I think you just can't find anyone who did as well.
And finally, the Marcos loyalists who have been there for decades, as well as all the new Marcos supporters who recently obtained.
Well, I feel so blessed that there are such people. And we were talking recently about the loyalists or supporters who had camped outside the Supreme Court in waiting for the recount to start. And I kept thinking to myself, these are wonderful people, and how do I actually express properly how grateful I am to them, and how to actually, so they understand how thankful I am for them being there. You know, sometimes in situations you really can't depend on anyone else to help yourself. You can only do it yourself. But a friendly face is always welcome, and they provide hundreds and thousands of those friendly faces.
I think I'll speak for the millions of new and old supporters when I say the way to thank us is just to win back the country.
Well, we're working on it. We're
Thank you
working
very
on it.
much, Vice
Thanks,
President
Marcos.
Marcos.